Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so here we go again with another one of these leftist sob stories. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable how the mainstream media apparatus across the board, whether it's the big news outlets or the small local ones, they're trying so incredibly hard to manufacture this humanitarian crisis, of course relating to Donald Trump's mass deportation mandate, electoral mandate. I think it's important to clarify that, but it's so obvious what they're up to. They're basically showing us a masterclass in left-wing manipulation. And once again, we got another one of these stories. A woman is paraded on local news outlets, telling the viewers her sob story as her husband was deported by ICE. And they're obviously once again presenting these people as the victim. But when you actually hear the facts, it's pretty damn clear that there's no victimhood here. Maybe a victim to your own stupid decision-making, but certainly no human rights violation, certainly no constitutional violation, no just a violation of my intelligence. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. I mean, this is the stuff that they're pushing to convince people that you're the bad guy for supporting immigration enforcement. Let's take a look at this leftist stupidity, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and take a look at this clip from KPRC2 in Houston. Go ahead and watch.
Just stay down, or I have to get up and I have to show my babies. You fight for what's right. You fight for the people that you love.
Zakia Navas is forced to fight because her husband is currently in ICE custody.
My husband is in Lubbock right now because of the big hailstorms. He has a roofing business, and so he's there to do roofing jobs. And he was pulled over immediately by the sheriff for supposedly a traffic stop. Immediately once he was pulled over, an unmarked car showed up with ICE agents that got out, removing him and the other gentleman.
He was turned over to ICE for not having a license. Eventually, he was transferred to a detention center in Eden near San Angelo.
He says it's completely packed full of so many people, obviously, that they are just shoving in there. And it's a complete chaos.
What was your message, your main message to your husband when you talked to him that you wanted him to know?
I'm fighting for him. I'm going to get you out. I'm doing everything in my power.
If somebody's watching today and says, well, he was in the country for 22 years. Why did he wait so long to get a citizenship? What would you say?
I pushed for it years ago when she was born, almost 7 years ago. And he's like, but I don't want it to look like that's why I'm married to you. And, you know, maybe even a part of his pride, too, was what stood in the way. But never because he didn't want it to look like, you know, he's using this country for that.
Okay, now quickly, let's break it down. So we've got this news outlet that's platforming a woman who says that she lost her husband. Ooh, he was deported. It's so sad. Play the smallest violin.
I'm fighting for him. I'm going to get you out. I'm doing everything in my power.
Basically your standard emotional manipulation package. But then once we get the context, her husband was in the country illegally for over 20 years. 20 freaking years. Not 1 year, not 5, no, 2 decades. And somehow, during that entire time, he never made a single move to even try to get citizenship the right way to secure legal status, even though he's married to a US citizen, from what I understood, and he could have applied for a green card, and she claims that, well, his pride got in the way. Really? Pride? I think it's more arrogance. And clearly this guy thought that he was above the law. Clearly this was a calculated decision, you know, a gamble. But just going into more of the details here, she then mentions how he's working illegally and was pulled over while driving without a license. So he was driving without a license, probably no insurance, no legal right to be driving on the roads at all. He was also likely working illegally, probably collecting money under the table and dodging taxes. So he was in the United States illegally, he was working illegally, he was driving illegally, he wasn't paying taxes, he'd ever once tried to legalize his status, and now we're supposed to feel bad because ICE did their jobs. Give me a frickin' break. There's no sob story here. No, if anything, more of this should happen. I mean, very simply put, you cannot run an advanced nation this way. You simply cannot reward illegal behavior with sympathy and free government handouts, and certainly not a path to citizenship. And that's obviously what the left is asking here. You know, all these people who violated America's borders, subverted the entire system, embedded themselves illegally into the nation, worked illegally, didn't pay taxes, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you know those people. Let's give them all Mall the biggest lottery win, a freaking American passport. That is so insane. But what's more insane is the fact that the left is presenting this stuff as if we're dumb as rocks and we're just gonna fall for the emotional manipulation. Ooh, the kids. Let's now agree to enable this agenda that's gonna completely destroy the fabric of the nation. How stupid is that? And really what's most pathetic about this whole thing is that this is what they've got. I mean, these are the best stories that they could come up with. We've covered countless of these stories and every single one's always the same, right? I mean, you would think with a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions happening with Donald Trump implementing racist laws that are violating people's rights, you would think that they would have some actual stories that would help build that narrative, but no, they've got nothing. I mean, this is the basis of their argument. This is the basis of the, quote, good immigrant narrative that the left is always going on about. These are the people that they're fighting tooth and nail to protect, to enable, and to advance their agenda. An individual who's been breaking the law for 20 years clearly has no remorse for it and probably still refuses to play by the rules. It's just so stupid, and honestly, it's part of the same pattern that we see over and over again from the left. Twist the facts, lean heavy on the emotion, and hopefully pray that people are either too dumb or too distracted by the tiny violin to actually notice the important details. They do it on every issue, on immigration, on crime, and of course, they're doing it on, the big beautiful bill now, the supposed Medicaid cuts. The leftist outrage machine keeps going on, crying about how people are being cut off health care. They make it sound like grandma's getting tossed onto the streets and being denied her insulin. But once we check into reality, which I know is very difficult for leftoids, well then we learn the truth, that actually, it's illegal migrants that got cut off Medicaid, and of course now there's a simple work requirement for able-bodied individuals, meaning if you're a 30-year-old man living in mom's basement, expecting to have your entire life subsidized by the taxpayer, well that's no longer going to fly unless you have a serious, provable medical condition. You need to get a job before you get government benefits. Oh, I know, crazy stuff. Basically, the left is advocating for lazy entitlement abusers, fraudsters, and illegal migrants who are breaking American law and hurting the most vulnerable of American workers. It's so dumb, and the conversation is simple, the solutions I think are even simpler. Actually, might as well lean to a funny video I found the other day.
This is for all the liberals that don't know how to go get their Medicaid. You guys need a lesson? This is how you do it. When you get cut off from Medicaid, this is the first thing you do. You go ahead and you put these laces up, and then you go ahead and you lace the other cleats, cross them over, bring that sucker through. All right, make a loop, make another loop, bring it on around. All right, now liberals, you have just put on your first work boot. But you need two, you gotta have two, right? Because you got 2 feet. So what you do is you go ahead and you throw your other work boot up there, and pull those laces up nice and tight, liberals. Pull them up nice and tight, and this is what you do. And now you're on your first step to going to get your Medicaid and your food stamps and whatnot. Well, you're not gonna get food stamps, but you'll be able to get food. So you just go ahead and you pull this thing, and then you pull the other one, hit those cleats again, just like the other boot, and go ahead and tie that sucker up real nice and tight. And now you have your work boots on. You're ready to go ahead and go out and get your own healthcare now. And that's how it works.
Well, there it is. Are you no longer meeting the requirements for your Medicaid? Well, there's a simple solution. Put the damn work boots on and get a frickin' job. If you're able-bodied and you want healthcare, you want the taxpayer to take care of you, then at the very least, contribute to the American economy. And then, of course, simple solutions on immigration, too. If you are in the country illegally, then self-deport and maybe try again the legal way. These concepts are not radical. They're actually very much common sense. But of course, the American leftist strategy is to redefine what is common sense as evil MAGA fascism. Just stupid. But again, none of this is about hate or oppression. It's about basic standards. What happened to having standards? Unfrickin' believable. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.